They started with the Whatever podcast, and it went on something else. But I feel like,
and we said whatever. We said whatever. This is an irrelevant conversation. This is the real conversation.
The real conversation is the conversation we're having right now.
It's a good name for that show. Whatever. Whatever.
It figures that we name it.
Our show is called Conversation, so we'll have the conversation. You do whatever. These people, whatever. Like, okay, and whatever is talking about real things like marriage. Whatever. Don't do it. Okay? Talk to people who have conversations.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. So last week, my, what's it called, memory card, it just deleted the whole second half of that last video. And so Curtis, you had a second part to this video, and so we're going to go ahead and complete this video. If you have not seen last week's video, I will link it above. That way you guys can look at it and see what we're talking about. We had a subscriber write us about the Whatever podcast, and it was very interesting. But I do like you guys' comments, because a lot of you guys were saying that that kind of format where they have all the girls and the guy, and there's the whole, having a bunch of sex workers up there, you know what I mean? A lot of you guys were saying that it's a lot of it is just for views and clicks and stuff like that, and it also gives kind of like outside of that, it kind of gives an opportunity, I guess, for a man to kind of, in a way, put down a woman or like put her in a place, I guess you can say. And these women are easy, they were easy targets. They're very easy targets. They put themselves in the position. Mm-hmm. So, but anyways, it was very interesting. But anyways, the second half of this, Curtis, you had said something. You had sent us a video of Michael Knowles, and he was on the Whatever podcast, which surprised me because I didn't know. I'm like, like Michael Knowles, like he's not. I wouldn't guess him to be on that show, but whatever. Anyways, he said something really insightful. Curtis, the guy that wrote us, is a married man. Michael is also a married man, so Curtis is saying that he understood what Michael was saying. So we're gonna watch that and let's see what's going on with it.
You don't want to get married?
No.
No.
Why not?
All right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, 1v7. Okay. Well, so I'm not opposed to necessarily having a life partner, but there are certain. I'm sorry, Michael. There are certain realities when it comes to marriage that, from the male perspective, make it seem risky.
Oh, only from the male perspective? Because I can feel like it's also risky from the female's perspective.
How so?
I think you've never been in love.
I feel like, if you're thinking about risk factor, I feel like it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Okay, they're turning on me.
Well, but to your point, Brian, you make a good amount of money. The way the judicial system works, if a woman divorced you, she could take a bunch of your money, she could take your kids. So there's a risk. But my question is, if you're already going to have a life partner, which sounds, I'm sorry to say, kind of gay, like it's not gendered, it's not traditional.
Thank you for saying that.
It's just if you're going to do that anyway, but you want to protect against divorce, why not just marry a woman who's not going to get divorced?
Well, or get a prenup.
Yeah, literally.
So you're saying like, well, if you find a great woman that that's
not even just that. I'm saying because you could find the most wonderful woman in the world, and then I don't know, someday something goes off in her brain and she totally turns on you. But what if you create the structures such that you're not going to get divorced? I'll give you an example. I'm Catholic. My wife and I cannot get divorced. She could murder me. That would be her way out of the marriage. But it is not possible for us to get divorced. Now, if let's say you're not Catholic yet, and maybe you don't, you haven't worked through these things, maybe.
Wait, did you say yet?
We're just talking. And
okay.
So, I'm saying, what if before you get married, you sign a prenup? But not the kind of prenup now, not the kind of prenup where you say, okay, in case we get divorced, we get 50-50. What if you sign a prenup that says, if you divorce me,
I will kill you.
Yeah, I'll kill you. Whoever brings the divorce forfeits everything. That's the Knowles prenup, and then you're safe. She's not going to take your kids, and she's not going to take your money, and you get to be married and not have a life partner.
Sure. I mean, I'd love to bring on a family attorney to ask him questions about this, but kind of what I've heard and my understanding when it comes to prenuptial agreements is that oftentimes they can be thrown out, and I don't think prenups can apply to post-marriage. So you can protect your assets that you've acquired pre-marriage. I could be totally off base here, but I've heard prenups can get thrown out. Someone could say, "Oh, I was signed it under duress," blah blah blah. It's unfair. It's there's a specific term for it that's evading me right now. It's
But is that why you don't want to get married? Because you're afraid of the divorce potentially?
Afraid of women.
Why not just date another successful woman?
Do you have trust issues, Brian?
wow. This
Sounds like it sounds like you have trust issues.
It's just Michael and the girls here intervening with you, Brian.
Like if you dated another successful woman, wouldn't that fear kind of disappear? Because then, if anything, it's like she could be scared of your.
What if she's more successful than you? What if she's making more money than you are?
Yeah. Like why are we assuming that you're the breadwinner?
I don't understand why these girls are on here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't get why they're on here. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't get why we're talking to these women at all.
I don't understand.
Why do we give people like this a platform?
Right.
If you get married and you look, this is how I feel about life because I've been through some things. You get what you deserve. You don't get what you want. You get what you deserve. So if you go into a relationship with the attitude that someone's going to take you for a ride, then guess what?
Yeah.
You're going to get that. And if you're and the reason why I know that is only because there's 5 women here 6, who should not be here. You're not talking to a bunch of smart women. You're talking to a woman with tats all over her arms. She's got a high ponytail. She looks dumb and dense. You've got another one. They're all half dressed.
Yeah.
They're all kind of airheady. I guess I don't get why they're here.
Yeah. So like, I'm still on that from last week.
That's the only reason they're on here. He has to be on some level. He has to be attracted to these women in order to have them on the show.
Because why does he want the opinion of these women? They just
look dumb. They're standing there dumb.
It's like that's the. Guys, in regards to what he's saying about the marriage part. So, you guys, I mean, I've never been married before. So, look, when people get asked us these relationship questions, when they want us about relationships and things like that, I've been in relationships before, right? Not a lot, but I've been in relationships. But I've never been married, so I'm not trying to get anybody any marriage advice. But I will say this, that to me, when the problem with marriage, especially in America, is that it's not covered by God. See, I know that it always is going to go back to that. And what we have right now are marriages that are just kind of flippant marriages where people are liking each other, think each other's cute. It was fun, like hanging out with them, and we have, common goals and all kinds of, and that's all great and everything, right? But not covered in the right way. It's just their own understanding of marriage. And what Michael is proposing, because he's Catholic, is he's saying that it's not possible. We used to be Catholic. And I know that they mean that. Catholics don't play with that mess. And it's like, there's no way for them to divorce, which makes me believe that the Brian guy, I know his name now, his name is Brian, the host, is that he's not understanding that part. What he's doing is talking about his money. Understandably, I get it. Men can get the raw end of the deal with these divorces. I understand that. But why, as Kara was saying before, are we even starting with that? Why would you begin the idea of a longevity in a relationship and the idea of marriage when you're anticipating divorce, right?
But more than anything is, why do these girls keep getting a platform?
I don't get it.
It makes girls, they all look young. It makes girls want to be young and dumb.
Yeah,
because they get platformed.
Right.
So if you're worried about women becoming dumb, why do we keep seeing them all the time? Because what you're doing is you're creating an atmosphere where these girls honestly think that this gives them attention. Women like attention. And they'll get it however they want. If they have to be smart or naked, they'll do it. Especially girls who are young. They're going to do anything they think is going to give them the most attention. So while he's sitting here trying to act serious and also beta, why he's I like Michael Knowles, but I don't even know why he's not saying it. Say the elephant in the room. You're 5 dumb girls who are acting dumb, whether you think so or not. You show yourself looking, you're put some clothes on, stop chewing gum and flipping your hair, act like you have some sense, but they're not, because that's who they are. They're not serious women.
Serious.
And I'm sick of not serious women getting all the attention, and then men are like, I don't know why all women are so stupid. I'm like, well, because you like it. Until it's time to get married.
It's like your life is, you're surrounding yourself with the likes of these types of women, and then you're scratching your head as to why women are dumb. Well, the ones you associate with, Brian are dumb. This is what I'm assuming. These girls could be the smartest people in the world, but what we're seeing right now is not smart.
But she just proposed a dumb thing. She goes, "Oh, well, why don't you date a successful woman, because she might be afraid of you." So you're both going to be afraid? Why is everything about materialism all the time? Why do we care so much about looks and money? And then we wonder why we're all so shallow.
I know.
All of us, men too. We're all just shallow. And we have forgotten all about what marriage is. Marriage is God's idea.
That's
not ours.
It's not our idea.
And so the problem is we need to turn these cameras off. I was about to cut. Yeah. Turn these cameras off. Stop platforming these people, including him.
Yeah.
Because what he's afraid of is what he platforms. But he's afraid because he can't stop looking at these. He can't stop being around dumb, airheady, feministy type women. And by the way, feminists are airheads. They're dumb. They think about themselves. They're self-centered. All they think about is their money, their time. Everything's going to happen to me. But guess what? They still get married. They still have children. They still get more money out of the divorce. Yeah. And men still keep platforming them. Do you think that if there were a whole bunch of Candace Owens on here, that the conversation would be a little bit more fruitful? You think if you had Allie Beth Stuckey, Candace Owens, and Shamika Michelle, if you think if you had like 5 girls that were like that,
so
on here, or the other girl from the Daily Wire, the one that's the young girl that has, you know what I mean? Brett, yeah. If you think if you had an array of women like that instead of women who wear their clothes and act like they have some sense, then he wouldn't have a conversation.
He also wouldn't have an excuse to not want to get married. To not get married. It's like, see, the thing is that these having conversations like this with these type of women is offering him an excuse to say, look, this is what they're all about. They're all materialistic dummies.
I feel like these shows, like I don't watch them. I don't. But whenever I go through my feed, sometimes I'll see like a panel of girls look like this on a variety of shows, and I think to myself, I feel like they're just shows for angry men.
That's what it seems like.
They don't seem like
who want to zing. Who wants to zing airheads?
Yeah, I just feel like sometimes I feel like the red pill community. The what is that other one where they go in their own way? These are shows for those men. They're just shows for angry men who are mad at what their grandfathers didn't stand up for a long time ago. So who you need to be mad at is your grandfathers, not these women. These women are the product of what feminism has done for the last 60 years. That grandfathers
we're okay with
went ahead and allowed Gloria Steinem to take over the conversation.
It's true.
This is the problem of other generations, not these women.
Yeah.
I'm not giving these women that much credit. They're not that smart.
Yeah.
This is a long legacy of the civil rights movement, the women's movement, the gay movement, and all of those political movements. This is the fruit of that.
You want a wife, right? I mean, you want to.
Apparently not.
Maybe he wants to be.
He wants a life partner, Mike. He wants a life partner.
Yeah, well, you're right. Okay,
maybe
that does sound.
You know what's big now? Virtual girlfriends, virtual wives. It's a thing now.
Like this
AI.
one. What is you get an AI wife?
What is a virtual wife?
He wants a dog that speaks English.
Yeah,
but she can take all of it.
And that he wouldn't get in trouble for.
But it's like a thing in the future now. You can have a virtual, it's like an AI, but it will interact
We're figuring
with
out
you.
your love life here.
Like Siri.
Why aren't you just put all your faith into us and we
happen.
can figure it out for you? Yeah, we'll figure out all your love life.
We really want to get to the root of this problem.
Yeah.
I don't see the benefit.
This is why I asked, don't you want a wife?
Of having a companion?
I can have a companion and not be married. And I'm not a fan of the government, so I don't want the government involved in my love
But
affairs.
if you live with someone more than 10 years, you're going to
be legally married.
It's a common law marriage anyway.
Well, that's only some states. Not all states have common law marriage. California,
we do.
I don't know how long. No, California does not have common law marriage.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. My parents are by that.
No, not
That's
California.
The only
I'm pretty sure California is not common law marriage.
Yeah, no.
That's the only reason why my mom is still on my dad's
Google it.
I'll do common law marriage.
They're legally
states.
married by the state, but they've never been. They haven't been dating since 2001.
So okay, here: Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Montana, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Texas, Utah.
This is stupid.
So So, do you see what I'm saying? Like, these women are literally sitting here making fun of him, putting him down. You want a dog that wants to, they're literally saying, but nobody's telling these women, you are not at all a wife.
And beta
they think that they're marriage material. And there's nothing wrong with
Well,
them.
they also think they have the relationship answer.
Right. And I love how the two men sitting here had nothing to say back to them.
No.
That they
just
are
laughing
marriage
at
material.
it, really. Just laughing at
not
it.
even Michael knows. He's a married man. He should say, you guys need to straighten up. You guys are not marriage material at all.
Yeah.
And see, because women think because they get asked to be married that they're actually good, that they're marriage material. No, a lot of men will date modern women and marry them. That doesn't mean that you're marriage material just because you get asked, because someone asks you. You know what I mean? There is a criterion to be a wife and a husband. You know what I mean? But I just love how they took turns sort of making fun of him, saying that he wants a dog that speaks English, and they're all laughing at him, and he's sitting there like a beta male. I don't even know a common law marriage, and then Michael doesn't say anything. And then I'm looking at them like, well, you want to return?
Yeah.
You want to, no. I'd rather have a dog that talks than the five of you.
Yeah.
Nothing came out of their mouth.
They just sat there and let it happen.
And this is the man of today.
Yeah.
This is my point.
It's
the man. The modern man today is a doormat. And the only time they get angry is online, where they can go online and call these women dumb and everything. But they cannot do it in person. You understand? He could probably say a lot of stuff online, but here he is sitting across from 5, 6 women, and 7 women.
What is that?
And I don't even know what that is with the purple hair sitting there. You know what I mean? Sitting right, and his body language is low. He's sitting there being destroyed.
His whole energy. This is the same.
I don't feel sorry.
This is a whole nother show. Right? But Brian's demeanor, I still have questions for Brian. Like, your demeanor is still kind of like beta low energy. Like, you're just wanting, like, now you're talking about common law marriage and all the states that have common law marriage and which ones don't. You're just trying to figure out every excuse why marriage is a horrible idea. My question is that, I'm sorry, but if it would be interesting to see him in a room full of traditional, well-rounded men married.
And he won't do that though. He won't even be around traditional women. Why? Because they reveal him.
Yes. Right.
You understand? This is the reason why, like, when men say, used to say this all the time, when men say that all of their best friends are girls, it's because they don't want to be around men.
That's right.
And the same thing for women. When women say, oh, my best friends are men, it's because they don't want to be around women because it reveals you. When you're the same sex, you challenge each other, regardless if you're women or men. I'm able to say what I'm saying about these women because I'm a woman. I'm not intimidated by 7 idiots sitting here trying to pretend like they know everything when they know they don't. Yeah. Can they get married? Yes, because there are dumb men out there that will marry these women. I know that. You know what I mean? I'm not fooled by that. But nobody's telling them that in their face and sticking to that.
That's great. I've sort of looked at the numbers. I've done the calculus, and it just, to me, it seems like, here, I'll put the math here. I've done the math. 50% of marriages end in divorce, and the stats I've seen, 80% of divorces are initiated by women. And so when I say it's bad for the man, divorce, the negative consequences of divorce.
Yes, correct, Brian. 50% of marriages end in divorce, then 50% don't. So why are we not talking about the positive aspects of marriage? Real marriage. I'm not talking about the unprotected by God marriage. I'm talking about real marriage.
And then another thing is this idea that because somebody has a lot of money that they're strong. He keeps putting up, I make a good living. That doesn't mean anything. So, men can be garbage men and be better at running a household than you.
Facts.
Do not think because some man is making 6 figures or 7 figures that somehow that they are, they should get married. No.
Some of the best men out there are the ones who are holding it down.
I'm so sick of hearing that.
Without making $1 million a year. Some are just holding it down. You know why? Because they know how to lead. Okay? They know how to lead. They're not afraid. They're not afraid of relationships. Real men are not afraid of commitment.
Joe Biden has been married twice because his first wife died and then he's got this next one, right? Somehow he found a woman that he's found two.
Right.
But his generation is now, he's done put 4 different women in power positions. So he got what he wanted, but he doesn't care if his sons or anything get what they want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or his look at his kids turned out to be. You know what I mean? My point in saying this is that the generations before created all this.
Yeah.
And now we all have to clean it up. But the problem is, and until we are able to look at ourselves, at ourselves and how we conduct our lives and what's most important to us. And if what's most important to you happens to be looks and finances, you're already lost. Because your looks are going to fade, and if you ever lose your money, or if anybody likes you for your money, that is already a mistake.
Yep.
That's already going to be over.
You need to do these. People are not doing enough inventory on themselves.
No.
That's what it is.
Divorce typically tend to disproportionately impact men. They can impact women, but I mean, I think 97% of alimony payments go from men to women. So there are some concerns there financially, and then just you have the government involved, and then it can be quite contentious. And then not only is there the consideration in terms of splitting your assets, but then you have lawyers involved. And I don't have anything necessarily wrong, perhaps from a religious perspective, with marriage, but when the state's involved, and I think we ought to perhaps rewrite marriage laws to perhaps incentivize men to get married again, because you have no fault divorce.
Yeah.
And what's the other thing? And then your wife could cheat on you and then take half your shit. I think under certain circumstances, if you can prove it in a courtroom, that perhaps you shouldn't be on the hook for alimony if there's been some infidelity, for example.
You're saying so that you could dump your wife if she cheats on you?
Yes, without any
Brian,
financial.
who hurt
Most
you?
prenups in
Let me
Okay.
ask you a
I feel
question.
like you're always worried about like something gonna happen bad. Like when would you just like you have no trust and faith in
But
these
I think
women.
it's the society we live in now.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Also, like,
let me ask you a question. So how many people get married and they think, hey, this is the person I love, we're going to be together forever, and then you hear that divorce rate, it's like 50% of marriages end in divorce.
I think when people...
He's always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, he's waiting for that. That's a man that is very afraid of commitment.
I mean, I don't know if he came from divorce. Maybe his parents were.
I mean, maybe they were.
But I will say, I mean, this whole thing is just
weird.
It becomes annoying to talk about, not because I know people like talking about it, but it becomes annoying to talk about because I feel like nobody's really talking about anything that is real. They're talking about, like, he's talking about, I mean, of course, I agree. Look, I think whoever wants to leave the marriage has every right to leave the marriage. But if you leave the marriage, you leave and you can go start your life without my money.
Right.
I agree with him on that.
I do agree with that.
I don't think with the feminism, I mean, you don't hear feminists talking about let's end alimony.
No, why is that?
They suddenly don't want to talk about that.
But
So I 100% agree that if a woman leaves a marriage, then she leaves on her own.
Yes.
Because if he doesn't want to leave, then he's not asking for the divorce. You are. That means that you want to go. So then you should go and then get a job and work or whatever it is, and hope that, even if you are working, you better hope that job can pay for your life. You know what I mean? I also think that if a woman leaves, he should be able to keep his kids. This every other weekend is not a father in your life. That is every other weekend. So I agree with him on that. You know what I mean? But I also don't think that men are any more perfect than women. Believe me, if the other shoe was on the foot, anyway, say women had to pay alimony, men would be leaving.
What Brian is saying is, I agree with everything he is saying. You know why? Because what he's saying is factually correct. He's right. The statistics that he's spewing out, that is factual. So I agree with that. My problem is, why is he wanting the answers from these girls? 1, 2, if you're so afraid, then just bow out. Stop freaking yourself out. Like, what's the accomplishment? What are we trying to do here? Like, I don't disagree with saying because it's factual, but I also feel like, but who are you surrounding yourself with, Brian, for you to come to this fear of women and commitment? I would have to say that the reason why you're feeling this way and why you're so scared, as you're saying, you'll lose everything, is because you're looking at these types of women every day. You're looking at these types of girls. You're watching, I know he is. He's watching content about these women. And what's that other pod that, well, someone said in our comments, fresh and fit. is another one of these things. You know, it's like the black version.
And I used to say that about Kevin Samuels. How many dumb women are you going to sit there and have the same conversation with?
I agree with Kevin says because everything Kevin says is factually correct, but why?
But they're not changing because Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Beyonce, J-Lo, all of these famous women, Hillary Clinton, AOC, they're the ones who get the microphones. They're the ones who get to speak really loud and have the conversation. And women want to be like them because it looks like it's fun to be Kim Kardashian, rich, be divorced 3 times before you're 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It looks like these women are happy and they may not even be happy.
Right.
It just looks like that.
This is really bizarre.
If I go on the internet and I see people I know they're not happy, but they're pretending. It's a pretend. You know what I mean? People are not happy just being alone for the rest of their life, and he won't be either. His money at the end of the day isn't going to be there for him like he thinks it is. You know what I mean? Just the same as like women when they think that being a businesswoman, you know, and not having any other life beyond business is going to make them happy. It's not. There are other things that makes you happy besides looks and money.
Yeah.
And we have completely made marriage into looks and money. That's it. And that's the reason why these women get, you know, a platform is because they have looks. And then he thinks he can get platform because he has money. And then you can see looks and money doesn't even work together. You were seeing it in real time.
It doesn't work.
They're just being jerks to him, and he's being a jerk back.
Yeah.
Because he's pretending like he's a victim in some sort of way. You're not a victim. You make choices in life, and you got to stand with. There's lots of choices I've made in life that were bad choices, but I have to live with them. But you learn from them. You really do.
You know, they started with the Whatever podcast, you know, and it went on something else. But I feel like,
and we said whatever. We said whatever. This is an irrelevant conversation. This is the real conversation.
The real conversation is the conversation we're having
right now. It's a good name for that show. Whatever. I mean, whatever.
It figures that we name it.
Our show is called Conversation, so we'll have the conversation. You do whatever. These people, whatever. Like, okay, and whatever is talking about real things like marriage. You know, whatever. Don't do it. Okay? Talk to the people who have conversations. Exactly. That's how he's acting. Whatever. Yeah. Marriage, whatever. Right. And you're with girls who are whatever. Exactly. You guys are made for each other. You don't think so, but you're made for each other.
The thing is that, like, this is why we always talk about, so we believe in holding on to patriarchy. We think the patriarchy needs to be upheld and strong. But I think it's our society, and especially America today, is a matriarchal society. We can see it in the people. We can see it in the youth. We can see it in men. We can see it in women. We can see it in the government. We can see it's all kind of run emotionally. So we know that that is women, right? So I feel like because America has lost its handle on the patriarchy, leadership of men, I think that it birthed this what we're seeing right now.